Bd21 Base, Story and Guidance. The Magical Council, 21 out of 32. Base, the guiding force of necessities. The guiding force of necessities. Simplicity is the key. Quote, "Simplicity doesn't mean to live in misery and poverty. You have what you need and you don't want to have what you don't need." Hazur Maharaj Charan Singh Ji. End of quote. Base's story. After Kalimabanko had taken its place as the governor of Crystalia, it was me, a drop of the ocean of love, the home of Kandu, that came to venture Crystalia. As a crystal child of light, I settled down in Orania, the lower crystal kingdom, and Kalimabanko observed me with care, for he needed a team that would help him to keep life in Crystalia going. As a young child playing in the gardens of the castles of garments, located in the plains of dreams, Kalimabanko gave me the name Base, meaning the one representing simplicity, which is the best base to have. From a young age on, I was content with the simplest things of life. I could play with some rocks and earth for hours. I do not recall ever asking for anything. I made the things by myself, and after I played with them for a while, I gave them to others. I do not remember as well when the big shift came, having many friends to almost nobody. But I do remember nobody ever being satisfied with the simple ways how I enjoyed life. Kalimabanko, however, saw that I was like a symbol of peace, contentment, and simplicity that called up the extreme other side within others. So growing up, I kept living mostly by myself and needed not more, as I stayed content. My daily life was pretty much occupied with taking care of things of the simple needs of my body and the things that needed care around me. I couldn't figure out how others could take care of the basic things and the basic needs of life properly, as they were engaged in so many other things. How I enjoyed the simple things of life is hard to describe, for you need to experience that for yourself, like making food with care and love, making your own clothes and enjoying a sunset or an early morning walk, and looking with amazement, observing the treasures of Mother Nature. Then a time came of temptation, and this got hold of me, because the child within me wanted to explore what others were exploring. But I can tell you that my adventure didn't last too long. Very fast I returned to the simple ways of life and being content. The state of my mental being was also simple, as I could look through the complexity within my mind, and bringing everything back to a simple truth, and not affecting me physically and emotionally. Seemingly my life was too boring for others, and they called it even extreme. But I wondered who lived extreme. I forgot that they experienced the other side of my energy. The high realms of the gods. Kalimabanko saw my potential at an early age, and under his guidance trained me in every aspect and offered me a place in the higher realms of the gods. And I made myself into the god of necessities. I was great for his plan, as I reflected the simplicity in life, and as an opposite, everybody would be going after the complexity of life and not thinking about Kandu and their real self. Throughout the history of the higher realms of the gods, however, there had been many wars and battles, and unfortunately I played my part in it. You would ask, how can you do harm to others? Simply by being so different creates friction in others. Simplicity and silence not only scared many of you, but it scared the other gods. There were times in the higher realms of the gods when there was little food, caused through the battles with each other, and the destruction going on with it, and everybody had a hard time living with the basic needs of life. When there was little or no noise or no wind, even some of the gods freaked completely out. My power always came in the game by itself and forced everyone to return to simplicity. And it was not easy because everybody got so used to the many comforts. Touring my personal realm, Landor. At one point in time in the history of Crystalia, with the permission of Kalimabanco, I made my second home in the realm of the Divanas, in which I could experience my energy in full. Here I had my playground without having to deal with the other gods, but where other problems arose. As I am a creation in Crystalia, know that I am created with opposites, or with two faces so to speak. On one hand, I contribute to your life with my energy, you being content with the necessities of life. But at the moment you go away from that base, you will be challenged with desires and wants. This is part of the adventure of life, but know that you can have me as a base to return to as soon as life becomes too complex, with too many things to take care of, as a result of you wanting more and more. After I got my own realm as one of the 17 guardians of conduct, I went to the plains of dreams to one of the castles of garments, and took the body I still have today, representing my purpose. Also realized that I have several bodies or garments. I have my base image, but to make any body more comfortable anywhere in the universe, I adapt and can change into an image that looks more me being one of you. In the realm of the Divanas, I have my place, which is called Landor. We try to keep Landor free from the influence of the modern world, and we enjoy simple living and the simple things that life has to offer. Nobody interferes with nature. We live in harmony with everything and everybody. In your world, you would call that probably eco-friendly and living in simplicity. Everything here in nature is surrounded by an invisible magnifying shield, so everybody can see the wonders of nature close up, so we don't forget the incredible world of things everybody usually takes for granted. Our children learn the traits from their parents, and they learn from nature, and live with nature, and are very healthy. They are also very artistic to work with the things that nature provides, and are excellent craftsmen and craftswomen, working with the wood of the trees that died, and they create endless things with whatever they find. They know about the life of the plants and animals and insects by studying it, all through these magnifying shields. Everybody knows how to live like a king with the basic necessities of life. But know that we have to deal sometimes with invaders, trying to bring things in from the modern world, and most of them we have a grip on before their influence is really felt. And they are called the Glowwormians, and they giving us the most trouble. They are invisible for the human eyes, and we can only detect them in the night when there is no room. The Glowwormians' body glow like light bugs, and only can we catch them at those moments. The big change. Having two main residences in the higher realms of the gods and on my private planet, I was asked at one point in time by Mariah Morrow to become a faculty member at the Magical University of Life at the Sacred Archives. Mariah Morrow, being the principal of this university, who respected anybody and was wise, invited us all, the keepers and the law-keepers of universe and nature. Under his guidance, we all had an equal position and shared the knowledge of universe and nature from our individual perspective with the students, and we all felt very important. It was a great change. We turned back into love and stopped our wars, for we all knew that you needed all the help you can get in order to save yourself and your planet. So for those amongst you who want to become more aware and who understand that I am part and parcel of you and within everybody and everything, I invite you going on a journey and discovering all about me in my realm, or sit in my classroom at the university, or even connecting with me through a home schooling system. All connections to me are an incredible experience, and the more you know, the better you can go through your own life adventure. How I can help you in your life. Quote, unnecessary possessions are unnecessary burdens. If you have them, you have to take care of them. There is great freedom in simplicity of living. It is those who have enough but not too much who are the happiest. Peace Pilgrim. End of quote. I am base and in charge of the guiding force of necessities, reminding you that you can experience a simple and content life in all its aspects, or choose to complicate life by adding and adding, resulting in stress and endless obligations. I will remind you of how you complicate things and guiding you in simplifying your life. Your basic needs in life are very few and simple. Water, fresh air, sunshine, healthy foods, shelter, clothing, and some simple work to pay for food, shelter and clothing. More, and the dressing up and the adding to these necessities is a mind driven by desires and a form of lust. And most people, after they have these things, can't do without them anymore. About playing and being creative. When you have man-made toys, and especially electronic toys and devices you play with, know that they mostly take away your inner most amazing ability to be inventive and creative. They take away your imagination. Make a study on simple old-fashioned street and home games that children came up with in the past. Go into nature and see what nature naturally leaves behind and try to do something with your undeveloped treasures. When you have a computer and internet, which most of you have, go online and find out what you can make from these things coming from nature, or the things you usually throw away, like the inside of your toilet rolls, plastic bottles, and for the matter of fact anything, and know that you can even learn about composting. Fresh air and oxygen. One of the main necessities of the physical existence of your body is oxygen, which is in the atmosphere all around you, and its main source is in the oceans. Oxygen is the first most important fuel or food for your body, for without it you are gone in minutes. Inhale life and all the new experiences and exhale them in order to inhale new again. Important for that reason is to keep your body in an upright, proper position so your lungs can work properly. Be as much as possible outside in the fresh air and air your room by opening the windows in the morning. And be aware of the endless toxic fumes around you coming from toxic plants and artificial objects and carpets to artificial cold and warm air coming from man-made machines. Sunshine. Sunshine is another requirement for your body, but you must be careful to not expose it in the middle of the day or too long, for then it will harm your body. So, when you know that you will be exposed to your body too long in the middle of the day, protect it as much as possible. Drinking water and being in water. The body needs water because the body exists out of 70% of fluids and water is water. And most other drinks you consume are liquid foods, and some of them are very unhealthy. Water replenishes, lubricates, and assists in the cleaning process of your body. So drink plenty and enjoy being in the water. However, be careful for too warm and too cold water, which takes too much energy from your body to bring that water to the temperature of your body. Basic foods. Do you eat for taste or for health? In order to keep your body healthy, vital and fit, simple and basic, natural wholesome foods will do the trick. Eat according to the seasons, where seasonal foods are most likely cheaper than foreign foods, and it's a healthier way of living. Many foods are not needed or required for the health of your body. However, we have conditioned our body to tastes, and now we are the slave of those habits, tastes, and cravings. A lot of miscommunication is given to you about what your body needs. Most advertisements and food items in the man-created manufacturer world are foods which your body doesn't really need, for they are far too complex for your body to digest. In other words, they wear your body out prematurely because the body has to constantly work overtime. When somebody says, you need that and that and that is required, you can add a question mark behind that statement and first make a deeper study yourself about the subject. In your modern world of nutrition, you import and export food all over the world, where most of you now eat similar things day in, day out. Simultaneously, similar diseases appear around the globe. All this is a reaction of eating all these things which are not necessary for the health and vitality of your body. When you say to yourself, I need this, maybe first check either it is a conditioned habit, a taste, a craving, because most man-made foods react as a drug in your body, and you become dependent on them. Most of you agree that it's not good to get involved in drugs. But what is coffee, sugar, salt, alcohol, nicotine, white flour, white pasta, white rice, etc.? They all react as drugs in your body. You have become creatures of addictions, not creatures of health. When you want to seek the way of health and vitality, you have to seek those foods which are healthy, wholesome, and nutritious. Taking simple meals are as well a great contribution to your health, and it is far more easy for your body to digest than too many different things on your plate at the same time. You don't have to be a genius to figure this all out. When your body doesn't receive the basic healthy foods, it starts craving for anything. It needs glucose, it needs food, and mostly it will take something unhealthy. And the show continues as you are trapped within these cravings. Fresh and organic foods give the body all it needs, and it doesn't create incorrect cravings and no destructive habits. Modern foods, which have so many chemicals and other artificial ingredients, have a lot to do with throwing your body completely out of balance. Your body is more sensitive than you think, and you must be sensitive with it. And simplicity and simple foods work definitely. Staying fit. To keep your body in physical good health, you need to learn to sit, stand, and sleep with a proper position and posture. You may choose to walk more stairs instead of taking elevators. You may choose to walk and take the bike rather than getting into the car to visit someone or going to the groceries. You can work in your garden or pick up tools to help and repair things. When you still have a lack of physical activities, get yourself involved in some fitness activities. However, when you go beyond the norm of what your body needs, after all the sitting and monotonous motions, you can easily end up in the world of sports and competitive fitness. This is driven by competing with yourself and others, competing through appearance and time and speed and sets and repetitions. In most cases, when you go to classes again, you can easily go beyond the necessities of your body really needs, because you are trying to follow an instructor, or competing with others and driving you far beyond your needs. All you need to do is to stimulate the impulses of your bodily needs. These are flexibility, strength, endurance, coordination, and do this in a playful way. Clothing and taking care of your possessions. Know that you do not need endless things or what others tells you what you all need to have. Be careful for all these things you bring into your life, for they ask for care and attention. know in the future that everything you want, and then there are endless things you can desire, they all cost money. And by wanting more, you will have to work more, and probably lose your peace and health. Learning and professions. Learn about the basics of life through being with your parents. Be in nature and learn from the members of the Magical Council. When you learn about the basics of life and learn to take care of yourself, you are creating a foundation for several professions before you even study at schools. Fixing things in the house, learning about gardening, knowing about plants and herbs, knowing how to feed your body well and to keep it fit, and how to maintain it, are the old new professions giving service to those who do not know how to do this anymore. Life itself is a lifelong school, and there are endless adventures that can make your life more peaceful, practical and simple, or difficult and complex. Sex and sexuality. When you hear or use the word sex, it's probably associated to many things. But let us first look at its foundation and purpose. The purpose of the sexual act called intercourse is about procreation, meaning the continuation of the species, and in this case the human race. Connected to this in the past there were additional purposes, such as needing children in the family to help later working on the land in order to survive as humans and family, or to have children around that grew up becoming adults to assist the parents when they became old. In general, nowadays sex and sexuality is more associated to self-image, acceptance, lust, possessions, power, desire, and addiction. And anything you repeat too long becomes an addiction, and any addiction ends up in numbness. And then things get even more out of proportion to stimulate, to get out of that numbness, and doing this in the most unhealthiest and absurd ways. Coming back to procreation, connected to my energy guidance of necessities, and looking at the fact that you have too many humans on the planet, it is definitely not a necessity to procreate and produce more people, which, by the way, is the biggest danger to your own planet, as it is all connected to producing and consuming. But what about the sexual urge and sexuality and puberty, or being more attracted to male or female, and should it not be explored? There are endless things in the world that can be explored, including sex and drugs and unhealthy foods, alcohol, tobacco, wanting to be famous and rich, and even crime. Do not forget, wanting to have all the latest gadgets, games and clothes. All these things are not a necessity, a have to and a must, and in general pursuing them will end up in not contributing to one's health, the health of others and the planet. Coming back to this urge of sex, and note that it is just connected to one small area of your body, but it can take your entire life over, which it mostly does. This connection is located in the pelvis area and connected to the water energy, and further connected to vitality, immune system, playfulness, flexibility, and creativity. So do not let your life being taken by this sex and sexuality and using this energy for endless other and more constructive things. Be more busy with keeping a good immune system or boosting it. Learn to be creative in every aspect of life and learn to play your roles well, like good actors do. Become more flexible and mobile through various forms of exercising, and become flexible in your mind with all the challenges that come in your life. The simplicity of life itself. When you would take everything away around you, and you would take all that away from you, which is part of a very complex and momentary world, the only thing left would be the real you, that essence which is the everlasting power of life itself. That is a practice of sitting in silence and inner prayer and meditation. Simpler it doesn't get. Everything else is more complex and complicated. Necessities. Simplicity or complexity, what is it going to be? Extra obligations and stress through complexity, or enjoying the basic needs of life called simplicity?